account and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Jill Takahashi is with us. Live Well Medicare Insurance. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Fortune Cookie Day. National Fortune Cookie Day. The best thing about fortune cookies is you eat one and 10 minutes later you're hungry again. I just throw that out there. National Lollipop Day. Now, that's a different lollipop right there. I know I'm old. Do you remember Telly Savalas?
Yes.
You remember Telly Savalas?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Josh, do you remember Telly Savalas? Oh, Josh doesn't remember Telly Savalas. Okay, Kojak. Mm-hmm. It was a long-running movie. It was or TV show. And he used to always have his lollipop, always had a lollipop. Just a side note, his daughter went to college with us. So that's a whole different story. But that was the round Tootsie Pop lollipop. That was the one that he enjoyed, the ones that we're showing on our screen. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, these are more the Disneyland type lollipops, but they're good looking and worth eating. National Hot Dog Day. This one baffles me every single year. Nathan's does a big deal on hot dogs on July 4th, and then we celebrate National Hot Dog Day on the third Wednesday in July. It's not even the same day as the baseball all-star game. So I guess
it is what it is.
Yeah, moving right along. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 82 points. The S&P 500 up 33. The NASDAQ up 213 points. That's good-looking numbers right there. The oil is down 79 cents a barrel. Should we look and see what oil is doing today on the world stage? Well, you know, we're still here in the formerly golden state. We're still paying way too much money for oil. Gasoline, $5.84 a gallon. At least it's going the right direction, but still painful. Josh, you're over there at $4.20 a gallon. On your way to the airport, make sure you fill up, because when you get back to Nevada, you're going to be at $5.20. You're going to pay an extra $1 a gallon just by going home. $4.46 is the national average, and just to make me cry, the oil-producing state of Hawaii, they're paying $5.60 a gallon over there in Hawaii. No, they don't produce oil in Hawaii. They don't refine gasoline in Hawaii. Maybe sugar cane, maybe a little. Well, I'm not going to go there. I think they call it Maui Wowie. I don't know what that would be, but that's a whole different subject. Let's move right along and see what's going on in the news today. I know we've got some housing news coming up, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Why are the markets doing so well? Well, Netflix. I didn't even look and see what Netflix is doing, but they did come out with an earnings report, and it was actually better than what they thought on one of the major issues. What are the major issues? Well, it's subscribers. So Netflix is up about 6.7% as we speak right now, or as I speak right now. They only lost 200,000 subscribers. Only. Well, I guess when that's half of what you projected, I guess that's good news. Right now, I'm not a big person, big individual on all these subscribing services. The average household now has 4.7 streaming services. 4.7 streaming services. I would hate to. Are you into all those things?
Yeah, I was trying to. I probably have about that.
You're right on there, huh? Yeah. You're on that 4.7. Mm-hmm. Josh, are you on that 4.7 plan also? Well, you got little ones though, so you got to have probably Disney and the Cartoon Channel or something. I don't know all of them. I feel. Oh, Alex is with us. Holy cow, Alex! Alex is getting married in about 10 days, so he's spending some time with us before that prenup. I wouldn't say anything like that, but Let's move right along. 4.7 streaming services. So, and people laugh at me because I still just have the old basic.
Cable.
No, I have
Cable?
I have cable. But what's I have? Well, I have the one that ATT took over. I've got. I might need your services, Jill, because I've got Sometimesers. It's the early version of Alzheimer's. But geez, I can't. I pay them $270 a month or something for the damn thing.
The satellite, the direct.
Direct TV. There you go. Thank you. Direct TV.
Sounds like.
Sounds like I need help here. I need help. Okay, Bob has 5 streaming services. Okay, so thanks, Josh. Direct TV. Yes, that was the one. I was on the wrong. I was looking at comments. So Bob's got 5 streaming services. I think we have Netflix. I think that's the only thing that I have. But it might be that my wife doesn't want me to know all the other ones that she might be subscribing to, like all the other things that go through the credit card bill. But Netflix did pretty well on their subscribers, only losing 200,000. They've got 3 big initiatives that they say are going to save the company. Yeah, right. Cracking down on password sharing. Okay. Launch an ad-supported tier. So do you have to pay extra to get ads, or do you pay less to get ads? And something about recreating the Stranger Things magic. Netflix wants what Disney and HBO have. Franchises so popular that people get tattoos of them. Is that, am I missing something? People get tattoos of some of this stuff? I'm not into tattoos at all. I kind of feel my word or my thoughts on tattoos, if anybody cares, is I wouldn't go and spray paint new rolls. So that's just the way it is. So tattoo, no, thank you. Moving right along, let's see what else we've got in the news going on today. There's all kinds of good stuff all over the place. Nobody won the lottery again, so that's an interesting one. Are you going to play it again to see if you win? Remember, it's just entertainment. Maybe instead of one of those, maybe you can round down from 4.7 to 4.0 on the streaming services and go and play $2 on the Mega Lotto. It's over $500 million. After taxes, you'll probably still be able to live. It'll probably be after taxes, cash value, somewhere around $275 million. So I think my wife could go spend that pretty easily, but that's a whole different story once again. See what else is going on in the world today. I see housing sales. Now yesterday we did new home sales. Today we're going to talk about the existing home sales dropping back again. So we're watching all of those numbers for you. Got a great broadcast lined up for you today. We're going to talk, should you buy a home with inflation this high? We're going to talk about Medicare. Do you really want to talk to your neighbor about your Medicare policy? I know that's where you're going to, but maybe you want to talk to an expert. We're going to get into that as well. And On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. Every week we get a segment from our friends over at Visit Anaheim, and they give us some great new places to go, a family event, a romantic event, and a major event of the week. We'll have all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The S&P 500 now up 37 points. 10-year Treasury up 2 basis points over that 3% mark that we've been watching. Mortgage-backed securities, they're down 8 basis points, which means interest rates are up there as well. And OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. What are they telling us? Conforming loans, 30-year locked at 5.78 yesterday. The 30-year jumbos locked at 5.30 yesterday. Thanks, government. That's why the jumbos are less than conforming. 30-year FHA, 5.65. Best loan on the market for those that earned it. The VA loan, 30 years, 5.393. And the 30-year USDA, for those of you in the rural areas, 5.592. All that information is available on the super secret website, google.com. The reason that you come here is to figure out why this is happening. Well, the Mortgage Bankers Association, they released their mortgage application data for the week ending 7/15. Again, that's about a week old. Our OBMMI data is from yesterday, showing that overall application volume decreased by 6.3%. Applications to purchase a home were down 7.3% for the week and down 19%. 19% year over year. Ow! Refinances decreased by 4.3% from the previous week, and those are down 80% from a year ago. I think the interest rates have something to do with that. Don't forget, get our Borrow Smart analysis if you want to know. Maybe you can say increase your home loan rate and decrease your household debt payments. Just a way of doing things. Existing home sales tracks closings on existing homes decreased by 5.4% in June at a 5.12 million unit annualized pace, which was worse than the 1% decline expected. Supply was up 2.4% from a year ago, and the median existing home price was $416,000 in June, a 13.4% rise from a year ago. 124 consecutive months of year-over-year increases is the longest running streak on record. Remember, there's several different sources that give you those numbers. That's why our numbers vary from day to day. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Well, for those of you that are like me, getting older and older by the day, now I'm not quite to needing Jill's services yet, but getting closer. Jill Takahashi, Live Well Medicare Insurance, is with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's chat about Medicare services. And, you know, I hear all the time people that are getting ready to go on Medicare, and by definition, they're older, right? You don't have too many infants on Medicare, I guess.
Well, generally, unless someone's on disability, if they're on disability for 2 years or more, they automatically qualify for Medicare. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I guess maybe I got to talk to Jill. See, you learn something all the time when you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So again, don't go to your neighbors for this kind of stuff, because while great intentions, maybe they don't have the same level of experience. So as we get older and older,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting ready for Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to take Medicare?
Well, it depends. So if you're still working and have employer insurance and that's, cost effective and good benefits for you, you're welcome to stay on that in most cases.
Is there a benefit if I don't take Medicare? Is there any benefit if I don't take it?
No, actually, if you don't take Medicare and you don't have other credible coverage, then Medicare will penalize you when you do go on it. So, and then there's only certain times you can enroll in it when you're turning 65 or coming off employer coverage, and then you could do that at any time of the year. But if you delayed it and didn't do it at those specific initial enrollment times, and you go to enroll later, you'll only have certain times of the year that you can do it, and they'll penalize you for the time that you were not on it, but you qualified for it. But if you have credible coverage to your employer, then you can enroll whenever you don't have that.
Okay. So is there a benefit to having double coverage?
It depends on every person's needs, but it's not very often that I have people on double coverage. If I'll do a review of if they have employer coverage at the same time, then I'll do a review of their employer and then compare it to Medicare, and then we just take a look and see which one's a better fit for them. If it's good to stay on the employer or they want to move to Medicare, then
So sometimes you've got those what they used to, under the Obama administration, they used to call it Cadillac policies. They still use that same term?
I use that term all the time.
Okay.
Medicare Supplement, we tend to call that the Cadillac of the policies. It's the higher premium, but it gives you ultimate flexibility to go to any provider that accepts Medicare without any kind of approvals or referrals.
Are there providers that don't accept Medicare?
I look up doctors for people to see if their doctors are in the networks and such. And if they're in the network, that means that they are accepting Medicare. And there was one neurologist in Newport Beach that didn't accept it in the 6 years that I've been doing this. That was the only one that I found so far.
Okay, so
I imagine there's some pediatricians.
yeah, maybe they don't need to.
It.
Yeah, that might be a case. I don't accept it.
I've never looked one of those up, so I don't know.
So we have some Jill fans on with us. It looks like this morning. Valerie's here with us. Woohoo, Jill, and Liberato, the Cadillac of Medicare. Pat. I think he means patent that, but well, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's some good stuff right there. So the big issue that I see probably in most instances that I come across, because being a consumer advocate, I have people call me for all sorts of things, and I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough about Medicare insurance to give them Jill's number. That's pretty simple for me. So do you do seminars to educate people, or is it all one-on-one?
Yeah, well, it's both. So often I'm in the community doing a Medicare 101 class is what I call it. And I'll go out and just go over the basics of Medicare and answer questions. But also I do it just when people call and make an appointment, and I explain Medicare. I go through and, get a feel for what's important to them as far as their coverage and their budget. And then, like I said, I look up their doctors, I look up their prescriptions, and then I say, okay, I've narrowed it down to these, few policies that are good options for you based on what you're telling me that you need and is important to you. Because there, you'd mentioned the neighbor might say that they love a particular plan and it's the right way to go. And it probably is for them, but it may not be for you. But I'm contracted with all the major carriers. So you don't care who they use. No, and we get paid the same regardless. So I always tell my clients, what makes you happy makes me happy. I work for you. Somebody else compensates me. So my goal. I like that idea. Yeah. Somebody else pays the bill and I get the benefits. Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense right there. And often I feel like an advocate for my clients. So I like that a lot. What do you mean by an advocate for your clients? Well, if they're having any kind of, once we've got them enrolled and let's say they're in an HMO product with a medical group and they're having a problem getting a referral or something, I have relationships in the medical groups. I know kind of what to do to work through that. If they, a prescription comes back and says not on formulary, then I'll walk them through the process of getting it covered and things like that. So I'm just able to answer their questions. And also sometimes I'll get on the line with a provider, whoever, and say, he shouldn't be getting a bill for this. This is the coverage. Here you go. It just depends. Oh, okay. So now when you're talking about you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to get to as well. You said that I think I heard you say that you can get enrolled anytime after you turn 65 if you have coming off of another plan or an enrollment period. Well, when you're turning 65, you have the 3 months before your 65th birthday, the month of your 65th birthday, and the 3 months after to sign up for Medicare. So you have 7 months there. Right. If you don't do it in that time frame, then you have to wait for an open enrollment time period, which can delay it. January 1st through March 31st, but then it won't start until July of that year. So it's a delay. And you would be penalized if you didn't have any other credible coverage. But like I said, if you're on employer and it's considered credible coverage by Medicare standards and you want to stay on that, you can. And I just recommend that you call a professional and just do a review, because oftentimes I always ask my clients when I go, okay, well, how much of that premium is coming out of your paycheck? How much is the employer covering versus how much is coming out of your check? As well as let's look at, how much your co-payments and deductibles and things are. Oftentimes, Medicare actually is more cost effective in I would say 75 to 80% of the.
So we want to get the bottom line is we want to get the Medicare as soon as we can, being that it's going to still let me go to the same doctors and it's going to cost me less.
Everybody, sometimes, most of the time, but not all the time. It just depends on, if an employer is paying, 100% of their benefits and they have low co-payments, it may not be the right fit. So I'd say call me when you're retiring, at that point.
Well, or call you before you're retiring.
Right.
So you get invited to all the retirement parties.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing something.
Yeah, you're missing something. Now, is there always, now you said you can, on that open enrollment, January 1st through March 31st, and then it starts in July. Is there always a window there that you're not covered?
Well, if you don't have other coverage, yeah.
So you got to you have to plan in advance.
Yeah, you really want to plan in advance. Some people call me as much as a year in advance. You don't need to go that far in advance, but I do recommend reaching out 3 months in advance just to, look at it and see what the right path is for you.
So here's a great scenario, and I know we're gonna go to break here real quick, but one of the big takeaways that I see on this, let's see what Alex has to say. He's always got good stuff here. For 65 and want to stay on your employer plan, can your employer refuse to continue to pay insurance? We're going to talk about that when we come back. That's a good question, Alex. So we'll talk about that when we come back. And then Alex has to stay, or he'll get a phone call and he can't stay. But you can listen to the replay, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. But one of the big takeaways that I've got so far in our brief chat with Jill is it depends. So no, we're not talking about the depends like you wear, but it depends here is the issue. So if you're talking to your friends, family, or coworkers, and they're telling you what was good for them, it may not be what's right for you because it depends on your situation. So think about that. In addition to your other motto, Jill, that you're going to patent is, what's good for you is good for me, or whatever.
What makes you happy makes me happy.
There you go. We're going to patent that one. And you can also patent it depends.
Right.
So we got 2 different patents there. I don't know. Liberato, are you a patent attorney? You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Jill Takahashi, talking more about Medicare. Should you buy a home with inflation this high? And On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. All of that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Should you buy a home with inflation this high? While the Federal Reserve is working hard, we get some articles that are sent to us, and we really trust them a lot. It's kind of funny, though. I do get to chuckle. While the Federal Reserve is working hard to bring down inflation, I think I've got a sound clip for that one here somewhere.
You know better than that.
The latest data shows the inflation rate is still going up. You no doubt are feeling the pinch on your wallet at the gas pump or the grocery store, but that news may also leave you wondering, should I still buy a home right now? Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate, explains how inflation is affecting the housing market. Quote, inflation will have a strong influence on where mortgage rates go in the months ahead. Whenever inflation finally starts to ease, so will mortgage rates. But even then, home prices are still subject to demand and very tight supply, unquote. No one knows how long it'll take to bring down inflation. That means the future trajectory of mortgage rates is also unclear. While that uncertainty isn't comfortable, here's why both inflation and mortgage rates are important for you and your home ownership plans. When you buy a home, the mortgage rate, the price and the price of the home matter. Higher mortgage rates impact how much you'll pay for your monthly mortgage payment, and that directly affects how much you can comfortably afford. And while there's no denying it's more expensive to buy and finance a home this year than it was last year, it doesn't mean you should pause your search. Here's why. Home ownership is historically a great hedge against inflation. In an inflationary economy, prices rise across the board. Historically, home ownership is a great hedge against those rising costs because you can lock in what's likely your largest monthly payment, your mortgage, for the duration of your loan. That helps stabilize some of your monthly expenses. Not to mention, as home prices continue to appreciate, your home's value will too. That's why Mark Cusin, financial writer at Investopedia, says, quote, real estate is one of the time-honored inflation hedges. It's a tangible asset, and those tend to hold their value when inflation reigns, unlike paper assets. More specifically, as prices rise, so do property values, unquote. Also, no one is calling for homes to lose value, as Selma Hepp, Deputy Chief Economist at CoreLogic, says, quote, the current home price growth is unsustainable, and higher mortgage rates coupled with more inventory will lead to slower home price growth, but unlikely declines in home prices, unquote. In a nutshell, your home search does not have to go on hold because of rising inflation or higher mortgage rates. There's more to consider when it comes to why you want to buy a home. In addition to shielding yourself from the impact of inflation and growing your wealth through ongoing price appreciation, there are other reasons to buy a home right now, like addressing your changing needs and so much more. The bottom line, homeownership is one of the best decisions you can make. In an inflationary economy, you get the benefit of added security of owning your home in time when experts are forecasting prices to continue to rise. And as always, I ask, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to introduce them to us? That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. We're going to continue our conversation. Jill Takahashi is with us. We're chatting about Medicare. And it's not, now, I know some of you are going to say, well, that doesn't affect me. Well, if you are a senior, it affects you. If you know a senior, it affects you. If you want to become a senior, it will affect you. So don't go away. Listen to what Jill has to say, because any one of that group of folks can benefit from the information that Jill's sharing. And I've talked to Jill about this before offline. And one of the beauties of this is everybody's is unique, right? The set of medications that I take are probably not, they're not even the same set of medications my wife takes. So would it be logical that she might have a different Medicare need than I would?
Oh, 100%, which I think is nice. You know, when you're doing employer, you're kind of, or, you know, individually under 65, you're usually stuck with doing the same plan.
Right.
And it may or may not fit your needs. You may or may not go to the same doctors, and you probably don't have the same prescriptions. So
I still don't need that pregnancy insurance. I mean, for some reason,
insurance. I don't think there is such a thing as.
Well, yeah, they did under Obamacare. They came out with something where everybody had to have maternity coverage.
Oh, okay.
I say the wrong words. I've
Yeah.
still got the sometimesers.
Again, I specialize in Medicare.
No,
Unfortunately,
you don't have too many
I don't
people
know
with the-
under 65. I have a great colleague that I refer that to. But
You don't have to worry about the people with there's not too many people over 65. Although maybe nowadays you might need maternity service. If guys are needing maternity coverage, over 65 might need it also.
Yeah. Well,
May get there.
all right. Doesn't come up. It doesn't come up.
Doesn't come up. Okay, we're not going to go there either. Okay, so we're going to learn about this. So now I put in here in our headline ABDs. Is there C's in there too, or is there?
I always say A plus B plus D equals C. Medicare is a little. My word for it is conkywampus. It's very complicated.
A plus B plus D equals
C.
Only in the government would something like that come up.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a Medicare Advantage plan when they take combine Part A, Part B, and then a drug plan all into one plan. It's called a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And do I have to have that, or is that just
Nope.
want to?
No, you have a choice. You can enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, or you can have a original Medicare and a Medicare Supplement. And again, I always say it's a question of how you like to do your health care and your budget. So what level of flexibility you want. In majority of the Medicare Advantage plans are the HMO, Health Maintenance Organization, where you have to get referrals to your doctors and authorizations to get a scan and such. And today's medical groups, that's who kind of runs the insurance company provides the benefits. A medical group is the one who's authorizing everything. And it goes pretty smoothly these days. Not that many hiccups. Old days, I hear, a lot of people scared from the old stuff, but it's pretty smooth these days. So a lot of people enroll in it because it's low cost, but there are some people that want a PPO or a Medicare Supplement, which they call a PPO, but technically it's different. And that gives them ultimate freedom, to go to any doctor, but their premiums are going to be higher. And if they're comfortable with that, so it's about what level of flexibility.
So what does higher mean? Is it like, are we like I had personal insurance where it's $1,000 a month or something like that?
Well, no, it's generally not that high. However, I will say that there's a standard rate for Part B. So Part A is your hospital. That's no cost as long as you've worked in the United States for 10 years or more. And Part B is going to be your medical, your doctors, your labs, things like that. That standard rate is $170.10 for 2022. However, if your income is higher, then they have what's called IRMA, income related monthly adjustable amount. And so if your income's higher, then they will charge you more for Part B, and they'll charge you extra for Part D. But that's something that I typically will send people, I'll ask them, the limits on it, and I'll send them a chart so they can see where they're going to fall on that. So if they're higher income and they were assessed the extra, and then they wanted a Medicare Supplement, and, their prescriptions were falling on a higher cost prescription drug plan, because you'd have to do those separately, then it could get a little higher. But typically, for the most part, they're saving money. Normally they're saving money.
So I'm gonna throw this out there at you just for fun.
Okay.
So hypothetically, if I was 65, which I'm not, and I know that I need to have a couple of knees replaced, and I want to go to the doctor I want to go to, am I going to use the HMO version, or do I need to go to the PPO version?
You could do either. You would, if we put you in an HMO, we would just want to make sure that your doctors are in the network. So for instance, over here, probably be St. Joe's, St. Jude, Providence network, or it could be Hoag or UCI or whatever. So we just make sure that your doctors are in that network. And then you go to your primary, you get a referral to the orthopedic surgeon. If you say go to primary, something wrong with my knee. He goes, yep, I don't know what it is. Refer you to the orthopedic. And they see you, and they would do the surgery.
And can I switch from HMO to PPO and back and all that kind of stuff?
At certain times of the year, yes. During annual enrollment period, which will be October 15th through December 7th. That's when you can change Medicare Advantage plans. Or
wait a second, now you got me confused. October 15th to
December 7th. That's annual enrollment period.
And what was the difference between the January 1 and March 31?
Well, there's let's just put I have job security, because it's so complicated and there's so many details of this. So October 15th through December 7th is when you're already enrolled into a Medicare Advantage plan. Then you can make a change from one plan to another. Also the prescription drug plans at that time. Or if you weren't enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, you just had original Medicare and didn't have anything else, you could enroll in it. Then it would start January 1st. For Medicare supplements, those have different enrollment times and change.
Oh, heck, I thought you got to go on vacation starting on April 1st, and that was the end of the.
Oh no, well, people are turning 65 all year
okay.
long, so I'm helping people get.
So you don't get to go on vacation like that.
Or they move. If you move, that opens up a special election period to make a change.
Oh, really?
Or if you're all of a sudden diagnosed with diabetes and you need a plan that's specifically for diabetics, then that's a change. If you're on Medicare and Medi-Cal, which is extra help from the state, that opens up. There's lots of special election periods and times that you can do things depending on your circumstances.
Wonder if my neighbor knows all of those. I bet they don't. That's why you need to talk to a specialist on these things. It's pretty simple. I mean, I look at some of these things and I wonder sometimes, most of the time, why is it that people, you got something that's as important as your health care, and you're going to go and talk to somebody who's obviously good intentioned. I'm sure that your spouse or your neighbor or your best friend's dog walker, they really have great intentions, but they may not be the most educated in a specific area. And I mean, we've already talked about A's, B's, C's, D's, January through March and October through December. And, you know, I've been doing this, I'm 12 years in radio, and I've talked to several people about these things. I don't have to be dangerous. I don't know enough to be able to give somebody sound advice. I do know that the advice I give as a consumer advocate, call somebody that knows what they're talking about. Call Jill. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Jill. We're going to talk about what does it cost you to use Jill's services when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. On the Town segment today, being brought to you by our friends at Visit Anaheim. Love it every week at this time. Our friends at Visit Anaheim send us over a major event of the week, a romantic event of the week, a family event of the week. What do we have today? Major event is the Anaheim Job Fair. Find your next career move at the upcoming Anaheim Job Fair on Thursday, July 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the California Career Institute. Meet with companies such as Disney, Enterprise, and more. Job seekers will have the opportunity to meet with employers hiring in sales, law enforcement, logistics, transportation, education, retail, nursing, and more. Employers will also have the opportunity to meet with qualified candidates looking for work. Register to attend on Eventbrite. That's the Anaheim Job Fair, Thursday, July 28th. The romantic event of the week, live comedy at Bruheim. You ever been to Bruheim? I've been there. That's a great place. The Social Hour Comedy in Bruheim presents live comedy Thursdays at Bruheim in Anaheim. Get your weekend started early with your loved one and enjoy a free night of nonstop laughter on Thursday, July 28th, starting at 7:30 p.m. Reserve your spot and get ready to enjoy great craft beer, delicious food, and tons of laughs. The family event of the week, Museo Summer Camp. Anaheim's very own Museo is excited to offer an art and wellness-focused summer camp program for the Anaheim community. Each special session of classes will focus on different aspects of art, art making, and art history. Children in each class will produce a unique project and craft at the end. Museo summer camp programs are intended for children ages 6 through 10. The next session runs July 25th through July 29th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Each session has several classes to choose from. Learn more and reserve your child's space at museo.org. That's museo.org, museo.org. Great stuff. Got to love all this stuff. Visit Anaheim brings us all the time. Again, On the Town, brought to you by our friends at Visit Anaheim. I'm going to chat this morning with Jill Takahashi, Live Well Medical Insurance. I'm going to give you this I guess they call it in some circles an admonition. So we're going to give you some great information on Medicare today, but it's not intended to be personalized information for you. This is high-level educational information, not high-level in the fact that we're snooty fluties. No, I don't do that. But I mean from high level is we're trying to give you an overview. If you want specifics, you want quotes, you want prices, you want all that kind of good stuff, we'll give that to you too, but you got to call Jill offline because everybody has their own unique situation. So just throw that out there for you before we chat with Jill Takahashi. We are learning about the Live Well Medicare Insurance is her company, and just learning about the Medicare world. So idea here is we want to talk to you early, get educated.
Yeah.
Do you do consultations with kids? Not little ones, but
you mean
40, 50-year-old
Yeah,
because
of
mom and
course.
dad are
Yeah.
going on and we're
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so that's if you've got a parent that might be getting to that age.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how in my situation when I was young, obviously I went to my parents for everything. They had the answers to everything. I didn't accept it, but they did. When I got to about 30 or so, my parents got really, really smart. I don't know where they went to school because I didn't see them go to school, but they got smarter. And probably by about the time that I was about 50, maybe a little younger, they started asking me questions.
Yeah.
So you got to get educated on these things.
Right.
So what are some of the things that we really need to know about with Medicare? What are the things that are the first signs that I need to get a hold of you?
Well, just in general, if you're turning 65, a few months before you're turning 65, even if you have coverage currently, through something else, then reach out so I can just educate you on the process. And if what you have is something you can stay on, or if you need to move on to Medicare and if you didn't, what the consequences would be, as far as penalties and things like that. So, if you're moving to another state from California to Texas or whatever, you have to change policies typically.
Well, you do have to change.
Oh yeah. It depends on what you have. Like a Medicare supplement might go with you, but the Part D plan won't because those are all based on state. Your Medicare Advantage plans, those are based on county. So basically anything that's new that's going on, reach out to me and let's, talk through it. And as far as, other states, I basically am following my clients where they move. So I just had clients move to Texas and now I'm licensed in Texas. I've got a bunch in Florida now.
Everybody moves to Florida when they get old.
Licensed in Florida,
Tennessee.
So I just tell my clients, if you're moving, let me know. And I can get my license set up there and then I'll help them find a plan there as well. Mm-hmm.
So what do I need to bring to you if I want to start chatting about exploring?
Yeah.
What do I need to supply to you so you can do your diligence and tell me what's in my best interest?
I want a list of the doctors that are important to you to keep seeing. I want a list of your medications, the name. If it's a brand name that you're giving me, do you take the brand name or can you do a generic, what your dosage is and all that? I'm going to take that information. I'm going to ask you, what level of flexibility are you okay with an HMO? They're really rich in benefits and really low cost. Or is it important to you to have PPO and have freedom? It's going to cost you more premium. The extra benefits aren't quite as rich typically, but if you want that flexibility, we'll look at that. So I want to know how you like your insurance.
Sure.
And then I take that information and I narrow it down to a few options. Typically, sometimes it's crystal clear, like this is the plan that's going to be right for you. All your doctors are in network and your prescriptions are low cost and it's going to give you this, that, and the other. And so sometimes it's crystal clear. Usually I'm giving a couple of options to people. Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm just from a high level again, you had said about different plans for different states and whatnot, but what if I have two homes?
Well, 6 months of the year, whatever you spend 6 months or more, then that's the state that you're going to want to, have your coverage in. And if you're doing that, I would recommend if it's in your budget, if you have two homes, I'm going to guess it's in your budget to have a PPO, just because if you're bouncing back or a Medicare supplement, that would be ideal.
So that's how I would have coverage if I'm part of the time in California and part of the time, say, in Tennessee. So then I want to make sure that where am I most, and then, but will my coverage still cover me there?
Well, it depends on the emergency coverage is the
Okay,
policies
emergency,
have emergency coverage wherever you are. But, if you want to just go to the doctor for, I've got the flu and I want an antibiotic, if you have an HMO that's in California, your doctors are not going to be in the network in Tennessee. So.
Okay. So we have to part of those are just things that may differ from you to your neighbor, right? So you want to make sure and have that conversation with Jill ahead of time as to what do you plan. What about travels? Is there any difference? I mean, I have a PPO personally, but say I want to go to Europe. Does Medicare follow me and things like that, or generally, or
Medicare doesn't follow you internationally? Well, there's one piece of it, which don't quote me. It's something along the border of Mexico or something. So don't quote me on that. But in general, internationally, Medicare doesn't follow you. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, often they have international emergency coverage. Medicare Supplements offer some level of international medical coverage emergency, but it's a little bit more limited. So I always just recommend, and this is based on clients of mine that travel all over the world all the time, I recommend getting a traveler's policy just to be
so
safe.
more reasoning that you want to have that consultation and things to bring up, right? If you're a big traveler, you want to make sure that you're talking to Jill about that and say, something, I like to travel. What do I need to do? Get that coverage to match your lifestyle, your needs. Might change as we get older, right? I mean, when we're young, we might at 65 or over, but we might. Maddie is still young, especially as I get closer and closer to that age. But you might want to have that traveling flexibility, and as you get closer to 90 or 95, maybe you're not traveling quite as much, so you can change then.
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, everything depends on the specific circumstances, but at the right enrollment times and the right election periods, you can absolutely make changes. But figuring out those nuances, sometimes I think Medicare is written in Chinese. It's very complicated because there's so many nuances to it.
And then the irony is that you shared with us that, if there's a major event, for instance, that diabetes that you mentioned, well, you might be able to change just because you got diabetes.
Oh yeah.
So, and a lot of insurance plans, they don't let, once you have an existing ailment, some insurance plans don't let you do that when we're younger. So you need to make sure you're chatting with Jill about that. Give us a high level discussion. A, B, C, D, E. Go through it. Give us the alphabet here.
Yeah. So A, that's your hospitals, your hospital coverage. And that, like I said, as long as you've worked in the United States for 10 years or more, that's going to be generally no cost for you. B is for your medical, like your doctors, your labs. That's going to be the standard rate for Medicare, $170.10 for 2022. But again, if your income's higher, which if somebody wanted to know the different income levels, I can email them a chart so they could see. And so that has a different cost. And then D, that's your drugs. So that's the drug coverage, your prescription drug coverage. And again, C, that's when the C is a Medicare Advantage Medicare Advantage or Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan. And so that's what the C is. So you have an option of, you can stay with original Medicare and add only a prescription drug plan. You can, but then you have higher co-insurances typically, and there's no limit on it. You can
mix and match is what you're saying.
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I say it's like Medicare Advantage is getting the combo off the menu. And when you go Medicare Supplement, original Medicare Supplement prescription drug plan, that's like ordering a la carte.
A la carte, there you go. And that's what makes it easy for us. We just figure a la carte, or do you want the combo meal? Right? That's a great way of putting it, right? And it makes it easy for simple guys like me to understand these things. If you want more information about getting specific and getting unique, because you're going to be different than what your neighbor's going to be. You're going to be different than what your family members are going to be. Probably going to be even different than what your spouse might be or significant other. You want to sit down and have the consultation. What does it cost for a consultation?
No cost.
No cost.
I always tell my clients, I work for you, but then I'm compensated by the carrier, and I'm contracted with all the major carriers. And as long as that carrier is, serving you and your needs and being good to you, then that's all I care about, because my goal is to continue to work with you over the years, because that is how I'm compensated. As long as I'm working with you, then I'm compensated and I can pay for those college tuitions.
There you go.
Exactly what made me get into this business, college coming up. So
that means we have to put you in touch with Chris Bissonette so you can kind of figure that out too. Great information as always. So if you want information about Medicare, if you're getting old or want to get old, Or if you have somebody in your family that is old or qualified, I guess I shouldn't say old anymore, because 65 really isn't that old,
That's so true.
especially as I get closer to it. You want to make sure and have the consultation, get down and get educated. And really, when you really think about it, what is the reason that you wouldn't? Right? When there's no cost to you, if you find out what's better, you're not obligated to do anything. But as I say all the time, how do you make an educated decision if you're not educated? Just a question for you. Again, as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Push me over the limit. I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day.